Station 10. Jesus is stripped of his garments. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Matthew 20, verse 1 to 16. Matthew 27, verse 28. Let us turn to Matthew 27, verse 28. And they stripped him and put a scarlet cloth around him. Let us now go to Matthew 20, still using the New Jerusalem Bible, verse 1 to 16. Now the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner going out at daybreak to hire workers for his vineyard. He made an agreement with the workers for 1 denarius a day and sent them to his vineyard. Going out at about the 3rd hour, he saw others standing idle in the marketplace and said to them, "You go to my vineyard too, and I will give you a fair wage." So they went. At about the 6th hour, and again at about the 9th hour, he went out and did the same. Then at about the 11th hour, he went out and found more men standing around, and he said to them, "Why have you been standing here idle all day?" "Because no one has hired us," they answered. He said to them, "You go into my vineyard too." In the evening, the owner of the vineyard said to his bailiff, "Call the workers and pay them their wages, starting with the last arrivals and ending with the first." So those who were hired at about the 11th hour came forward and received 1 denarius each. When the first came, they expected to get more, but they too received 1 denarius each. They took it, but grumbled at the landowner, saying, "The men who came last have done only 1 hour, and you have treated them the same as us, though we have done a heavy day's work in all the heat." He answered one of them and said, "My friend, I am not being unjust to you. Did we not agree on 1 denarius? Take your earnings and go. I choose to pay the last comer as much as I pay you. Have I not right to do what I like with my own? Why should you be envious because I am generous?" Thus the last will be first, and the first last. As we bring together these 2 passages, we must ask ourselves, how do these concord with Jesus being stripped of his garment? Clearly in Matthew 27, yes, we are told that he is stripped of his garment. I am daring to bring this reflection from different angles. From the angle of those who fall in the category of workers, to start with. To be stripped of his garment can take many forms, but let us go with the workers, and then I will share a personal testimony with each and every one of us. It is not easy to be an employer, just as it is not easy to be an employee. I dare to think here about the countless people who faithfully go through life, studying, and after completing their studies, some of us are blessed to find a career right away. Some wrestle to find one. Some find a career because the money is good, it will pay well. For some dare to find a career that is purpose driven. So it is no longer a career. It is what I will call vocational work. But I do not know how many in the process of embracing vocational work persevere. It takes a lot of perseverance. And for some, eventually, there's a lot that is to be learned. Some people go to school specifically to have a career as business people, to be entrepreneurs. For some of us, the Holy Trinity surprises us and says, you have it in you, but this is how I want you to take it. And we learn as we go. So I would say learn on the job. So although you take on this journey, the Lord shapes you and molds you and forms you to now rise and to be an entrepreneur. And in the journey of being an entrepreneur, you reach a place where you ought to become an employer. A place where not only you would have learned to manage well what the Lord has given you, where the Lord will bless you to prosper, but then again, you will be led to care for the well-being of other souls. And I've often been fascinated by this passage that I feel fits well this station of the cross. As we rise and we begin to do well, now we reach the place where we have to give thanks to the Lord for how much He has allowed us to prosper. And it comes down into many things. How do you pay the people that you hire? I will not dive into all the things that this passage has spoken into my heart over the years, because it will probably take forever, but just to give you a glimpse. How do you pay your employees? Do you have to wait on unions before you decide to be what I will call a godly employer? Are you blinded by your wealth? What type of benefits do you offer them? Do you select the benefit packages according to what suits you, or do you select the benefit packages in terms of what is best for them and for their families? Are you only profit driven, or are you also um, driven not just on your financial asset, but in the human assets that you have? And I will let you carry on this reflection any further. Do you strip them of their knowledge, or as they are contributing to your organization and your company? Are you as well enriching them intellectually, or in a way to continue to grow in what the area? Do you send them for training? How do you, as the employer, how would this parable of the laborers in the vineyard speak to you? As the employee, we will say, are you diligent in the hours you are working? Or are you also stripping your team of the skills? As the employer, how is God present in your organization, whether silently or loudly? Jesus being stripped of his garment is a ground breaking station that leads us to really, really ask ourselves, what does this mean for me? And I will take this to another angle, maybe an area that we don't often speak about, and something that was a part of my outreach ministry when I first moved to Calgary. As much as I enjoy walking, I used to go downtown sometime and enjoy walking. But I remember this one time, and in the process, I came across someone from my native land who today passed away. He passed away a few years ago. And it was interesting because one day the idea was, oh, let's go out. And myself, I was already the type of person, when I see certain souls, I would not be afraid to exchange with some of them. And there were certain specific souls that were close to my heart, but I never knew concretely how to reach out to them. But I knew that when I was in Benin, I would come across them and I will often silently lead them to the Lord or share a smile with them. So anyway, this friend of mine decided that our outing was going to be in a strip club. So I thought we were just going, to eat and just nice. So we stepped in the place. Obviously, I did not know it was a strip club before we got there. So as we stepped to the place, we walk into the place, and at my surprise, I see young women dancing on the poles. And I'm looking around, I'm like, is that where we are coming to eat? So obviously for him it was something normal. I guess being, a single man from time to time, maybe that was just something normal. And myself, having been raised in a family where we are open when it comes to certain topics, and obviously you see certain things in a movie, but you don't realize that you'll be taken face to face to it. As we sat there, obviously, I'm not too sure if I really ate that day because I think I was so in shock. But again, my heart was moved with compassion. And I remember as one of the young ladies came to serve us, whether it was just a friendly outing or much more in his heart, or are we going to just engage with the young lady? And obviously, we were just like all talking and just kind of wondering what is it that brought her there. So we were just like all listening. But I still remember, I never forgot that episode of my life where I knew that although I didn't have much, I realized that it is not easy to stick to your value and be strong. Because I remember that young lady told me, I'm working here because I just need to make money because and help my brother because I really want him to go to school and finish. And I really want him to go to school and study and be someone. So she was actually sacrificing herself to work in that place as a server. And I don't remember having there to ask her, so do you dance on the poles like the ladies who are there dancing on the poles? But even to just be in that environment, made you realize how sometimes you don't realize everything you have. And for me, it didn't bother me much because I grew up among, like, around my teens years and my adult years, most of my friends were males. But again, it brought a certain awareness in me to say, sometimes when you're going out with certain male friends, it's okay to ask them, where are we going? So in this station, we think about all the people who are stripped, like Jesus, or who put themselves in conditions where it's like, how much of a price am I going to pay? Is this worth doing, or would I rather pay the price to hold on to my values? Maybe some of these women have not come to know the love of Christ. And just being in a place like that, by your presence, whether you get to, I got to speak to some or not speak to some, there was just a prayer in my heart that said, Lord, I entrust this to you. But obviously, a few years later, the place shut down. And I was grateful to the Lord. Obviously, I was told that, you know, obviously there are other places in this city, but that specific spot was gone. And the young women who were outside, who would usually hang outside, and with whom as well we got to exchange, no longer had to be in that specific place. So in this station, again we asked through one of the holy women who was impactful in the church, who was chosen by the Lord to pray for us, especially women. I asked for the intercession of Saint Catherine of Siena, who was born Caterina Benincasa. She was born on March the 25th. She was the 25th child of her parent. And the Lord graced her with his wound. She had the visible stigmata. She only lived till the age of 33. But then she asked the Lord to grant her the grace to not have her stigmata visible, so they became invisible. So we asked Saint Catherine of Siena not just to pray for all of us, all those who are employers, employees, but especially women, that the Lord may show each and every one of us what is His will for us, that He may draw us to Him, regardless of the ranks, the position, regardless of what we are doing, and that He may teach us to not compromise, but to cling to Him, to lead us to make time for Him, so that we may truly be who He is calling us to be, and as well bless other women in becoming who they are meant to be. Saint Catherine of Siena, pray for us.